synthetic seed or artificial seed production. The picture you are seeing on the slide is one of the example of the artificial seed being produced by using embryos which are encapsulated in the hydrogels. Now, what are these? What do I mean by encapsulating the embryos, hydrogels? We shall look all this in detail. Now, synthetic seed technology involves somatic embryogenesis, for which large scale propagation of plant materials, particularly somatic embryos, are used for clonal propagation, and they can be genetically stable, particularly if they are produced in direct method. So it means to tell that if you want to produce the synthetic seed in large numbers, so also you have to produce the somatic embryos in large numbers. But remember, I told you that somatic embryogenesis can be produced in two ways. One is the direct method, the other is an indirect method. In direct method, you took the explant from this plant of your interest and directly it was converted into the embryo, right? Whereas in your indirect method, you had an intervening step which is known as the callus formation. So, the first one, whatever you studied, the direct method, these were pre embryo determined cells, right? Whereas the latter one, that is the indirect method, these were induced embryo determinant cells. And we saw what are the difference between these two, predeterminant and induced embryogenic determinant cells. So, the first one, as I told you, whenever you're going for a direct embryogenesis, your progeny plant, okay, will be same or exactly same or mirror image of your mother plant. So you can obviously use it for clonal propagation, isn't it? Whereas in indirect embryogenesis, we told that because of the callus formation, there can be some variation occurring. And this is because of some the stress or the physical condition or certain media what we are using or the mutation which is happening during your subculturing. This can lead to indirect embryogenesis, which often leads to somoclonal variation. And these were called as induced embryogenic determinant cells. Please remember these words. Induced embryogenic determinant cells. It is there in my previous video also. Okay. So this follows an indirect method. Whereas your direct method is a pre-embryogenic determinant cells. That is, they are committed. The cells are committed to form the embryo. So you have to remember the difference between these two. So for the large scale production or for the large scale propagation requires planting material of suitable age and should have a high germination rate, and the cells should be synchronized. This is particularly important in scaling up. Only then the scaling up can be done. So what do you mean by scaling up? That is, I want to produce in larger quantities. So if you want to produce in larger quantities, that process is known as the scaling up. So if you want to produce in large scale propagation, what you require? You require the plant material of suitable age, okay, the type of genotype, and they should have a high germination rate. If they don't germinate, there is no point. So they should have a high germination rate. And synchronization of the cell is important. Synchronization of the cell means all the cells will be in the same cell division, whether in G1 phase or G2 phase. That is known as a synchronized. Okay. So these all are important for scaling up, for large scale production or large scale propagation of the somatic embryogenesis. So, what nowadays we can do is we can propagate, we can scale up everything by using fermentation technology or by bioreactors. These are large instruments wherein you can grow your plant cell, animal cell, microbial cells to get a larger quantity. So, hopefully, this is clear. So it is now the synthetic seed technology. In vitro condition, you can directly use the somatic embryo. In vitro means what? In the laboratory. So you produce the somatic embryos, and if you whatever you want to do with the somatic embryo, if you want to develop it to whole plant, you can develop it by just changing the plant growth hormone. Okay, so in vitro condition, you can directly use the somatic embryo. Then you change the media as I told you. You add sucrose or abscisic acid, whatever is required. Then you can regenerate into plantlets. But if you want to use outside, if you want to use these outside as seeds for planting material, then you cannot directly use the somatic embryos. I can't take the somatic embryos and sow it in the soil or pot. It should be encapsulated. So there are ways in which synthetic seeds are produced. See, either they can be coated, okay, they can be uncoated, that is, they can be encapsulated or need not be encapsulated, or they can be desiccated. Desiccated means they can be dried, or it can be hydrogel. Hydrogels means they are hydrated. Either in the dried form you can use, or in the hydrated form you can use. Whatever you're doing, it depends on the species. You should see that whether that particular species of your interest, whether it can withstand the drying condition, the desiccation condition, or whether it can withstand the hydration condition, that is hydrophilic condition. So keeping this all in mind, you should proceed with your somatic embryogenesis. So as I told you, coated, uncoated, desiccated, or hydrated, there are usually four types of production of somatic embryogenesis. But sticking onto the syllabus, we shall particularly deal with the hydrogels. Okay, and these are the most common ones which I used. So now you know that what do you mean by desiccated? Desiccated means it is dried and then it can be encapsulated. Hydrated somatic embryos means the encapsulation is in hydrogel. Hydro itself is telling water, okay, in hydrogels, or which can provide the water content. Now, there are advantages, that is, there are merits and demerits associated with all the methods. Whether you're going to use uncoated or coated or desiccated, whatever may be. There are the merits and demerits. So now depending on the species, you have to choose whether the embryos what you have chosen, whether they can tolerate hydration, dehydration, encapsulation, or non-encapsulation. It is your choice. based on the species. So you need to make sure whether the encapsulation there will be balance between the vigornesses. What do you mean by vigornesses? Vigor. I'll just write it here. This pen. Okay. Vigour. So there should be vigornesses in your embryos. I mean the plant embryo. That is the time it takes to regenerate into the plantlets and the production from the environment, that it should not become non-viable. That is known as vigornesses. Okay, so you have developed the embryo and that embryo is going to develop into a plant. So the time period, it is the time period it takes to regenerate into the whole plant and the protection from the environment. Okay, because you're not going to grow do this in the laboratory. You're encapsulating it and bringing into the external environment. Okay, so protection from the environment, and most important is it should not become non viable, right? Only then it can regenerate into the plantlets, and then it can produce the next generation of seeds after it undergoes fertilization or whatever may be the procedures. So somatic embryos, they are dried to reduce the moisture content up to 8 to 15% so that they can remain viable up to a period of an year. Okay, for 1 year at least. So when you compare your somatic embryos with the seed, the form are less vigorous. So when you are comparing your somatic embryos with that of the seed which is naturally produced, when you compare these two, the somatic embryos, the form are less vigorous when you compare to the original ones. Okay. So what did I tell about the vigorous? I told it this the time it takes to regenerate into the plantlet, how well it gets protected from the environment, and it should be not viable. So these important three factors you should keep in the mind when you're developing the synthetic seeds. That is how well it generates into the whole plant. Once again, I'm repeating protection from the environment, and it should be a viable one. It should not become non viable once you are using. If it is non viable, you can't do anything, it's a waste. So, when you compare your somatic embryo with that of the natural seeds, comparatively, these are less vigorous. Okay, the capacity of survival or remaining healthy in order to regenerate into the whole plant is less capable. Hopefully, you're understanding what I'm saying. So, now what I'm telling is, I am comparing your synthetic seed. What is your synthetic seed? We are MCANs, whatever somatic embryos you have produced, we are encapsulating. I'll show you the procedures. Okay, we are encapsulating such. Okay, we have encapsulated. Now, after encapsulating, when you compare actually with your encapsulated seeds and the natural seeds, okay, we say that these somatic embryos are less vigorous. And now you know the meaning of less vigorous. Okay, the capacity of survival or remaining healthy in order to regenerate into the new plant is they are less capable when compared to the actual natural seed. As I said earlier, it also depends on the desiccation tolerance. This is embryo tolerance to desiccation, which means how much that species can be tolerant to dehydration or loss of water. If suppose a species or somatic embryo is sensitive to desiccation, what is desiccation? Drynesses. If suppose if you find that your plant of interest cannot withstand or it is sensitive to desiccation, just switch on to the hydrated form. Okay, so the hydrated coating, what are these? As I said earlier, as I showed you in the picture, these are nothing but the hydrogels. Okay, these are the hydrogels. Okay, hydrogels. That is, these are hydrated form. Hope it is clear. So you have to decide whether your species of your interest, whether it can withstand desiccated form or whether it can uh, withstand the hydrated form. So hydrated coatings are used, particularly these, usually the hydrated coating are more useful. Okay, and most of the synthetic seeds are the hydrogels which are produced. So your somatic embryos, as I told you, are less vigorous when you compare it to the other plant, the natural plant. But maximally you see to that they are vigorous, they are viable. Okay, and the survival rate of the embryo upon desiccation improves by coating. So that is when you're going for desiccation and when you're coating, that is after you dry your embryo and when you're going for coating, then the survival rate is good. Hydrated coating are useful in poor desiccation tolerance of somatic embryos. Suppose say your embryo is cannot withstand the desiccation or drying condition, then you should go for hydrated method or the hydrogels. So hydrated coatings are used, and this hydrated coating they are generally hydrogels. Example as I'll show you here. Look at this. This in practicals also you'll be doing. Okay, so what you can see here, this is the calcium alginate in the beaker. Okay, and here what we are using, we are using the sodium, sorry, this is the calcium chloride and this is the sodium alginate what we are using. So inside the sodium alginate, what we have added, we have added the somatic embryos, and through the funnels with the control tube you are slowly controlling the knob so that each of the seed or each of the embryo is encapsulated individually. So they come this is your embryo, they are encapsulated in your sodium alginate and they drop into the beaker containing calcium chloride. Here what happens? Chemical reaction happens. Look at this. This is your sodium alginate. Your sodium alginate is carrying what? It is carrying the embryos. Now you're dropping it into the calcium chloride. Now there occurs a chemical reaction. What is that chemical reaction? Calcium alginate is formed. Okay, so you form a calcium alginate beads. These are called as the calcium alginate beads. Inside this calcium alginate beads, what is present? Your somatic embryos are present. This is the way you do your hydrogels. Okay, and see here, look at this how this is and look at this structure. So you can see that what has happened, cross links are formed with the help of the calciums, and when this cross links are formed, what happens? All your embryos get encapsulated because of that matrix what they are formed. So desiccated embryos, you have to remember they have poor conversion. While hydrated encapsulated somatic embryos, they have higher conversion frequency. What do you mean by this sentence? Means poor conversion and higher conversion of frequency means how well they can develop into an whole plant. Okay, so your hydrated encapsulated somatic embryos are comparatively better than the desiccated ones. And sometimes how these hydrated encapsulated somatic embryos will be, they will sometimes be similar to your uncoated somatic embryos. What are your uncoated somatic embryos? These are uncoated, just your embryo. You have developed your embryo. Like last class you studied, no, how you are developing the embryo using all 2,4-deoxin, cytokinin, abscisic acid, sucrose. You all studied by that way. Okay, and then what happens? Induction, maturation, germination, development, all this stages occurs. So that is how the somatic embryos are produced. So if I want to generate more number of somatic embryos or to increase the cell vigornesses, what can I do? So people have thought about this because comparatively what did we tell? Our embryos what we have developed in the lab, when you compare to the original seed, it is less vigor. How will I make it more vigorful? How will I make it viable? So people have come out with lot of idea. They have, that is, they've used like amino acid. I have mentioned in the slide here. They have used amino acids, okay, organic acids such as the potassium and the like aspartic acid, malic acid, or salts like potassium malate or what to say, potassium aspartate, or even succinate has been used. So these are all being tried. Okay, different type of amino acids like as I said, aspartic acid, your malic acids, or your potassium malate, or your potassium aspartate. People have tried all this to see that they will somehow increase the vigor of the synthetic seeds. So supplementing the media with these organic acid has also helped in increasing the number of embryo generation and even the conversion of the embryos. Okay, so what happens? You can increase the number. This has a positive effect on your synthetic seeds. That is, it is increasing the number. Not only that, it increases the conversion rate of your embryo. That is, from the embryo develop into a plant. Okay, so that you can go propagate it. So this is an important point you have to remember. Apart from that, look at your our ABA, abscisic acid. We, the abscisic acid has been found to improve the development of the embryo. That is, you have the all the four stages, right? Remember, globular, heart, torpedo, and cotyledonary stage. In the cotyledonary stage, what happened? In each of the stages, what division is occurring? Mitotic division is occurring. And finally, you see that the primordia is formed in torpedo stage. And finally, in the cotyledonary stage, root and shoot primordia is formed. Okay, the radicle and plumule is formed. And when only, and we told it is bipolar. And this is the one which leads to the regeneration of the plantlets. And other factors also influence, okay, such as the oxygen concentration. Now, see the seed, for example, we'll take this. The seed is encapsulated here, okay. Seed means the embryo, it is encapsulated, right? Now, what happens? Because your seed is encapsulated, there is a high chance that there will be mass transfer limitation. Okay, That is, there is no transfer of mass transfer between the liquid air and the encapsulation air and your seed. So that, what is that mass transfer? That is the oxygen. Okay, so the oxygen cannot easily enter into it. It has to cross this phase, the encapsulation phase, and then reach the embryo. So there will be mass transfer limitation. What is limiting factor here? Your limiting factor is your oxygen. It cannot easily pass through it. And that phenomena is known as a mass transfer limitation. So oxygen is limited here. Now, this requires oxygen. Now, what you will do? How will you going to supply oxygen? That is what we are using the bioreactors or the fermenters, because these are instrument wherein they're constructed in such a way that you can supply the oxygen. Okay, that is, you can purge them with oxygen. Hopefully this is clear. Okay, so there are fermenters or bioreactors. These are instruments wherein they have an inbuilt sprayers or impellers wherein you can spurge the oxygen. You can put the oxygen, supply the oxygen. So in that case, fermentation is very helpful. Okay, so what your hydrocarbons are used in the media to improve the oxygen transfer capacity, because these have a higher solubility of oxygen compared to the water. When you compare your dissolving power of your oxygen and water and compare the hydrocarbon and water, the hydrocarbons are better. Hydrocarbons are used in the media to improve the oxygen transfer capacity. That is why the hydrocarbons are used. So, because of these, they have a higher solubility of oxygen in comparison to the water. Okay, so once again, I shall repeat. So, there is no easy movement of the oxygen into the your calcium alginate beads which are formed. Inside the beads, the embryo is there. So, I should supply that this oxygen has become a limiting factor. So, what will I do? I will try to put it into a fermenter so that I can spurge it with the oxygen. For example, I can use hydrocarbons are used in the media to improve the oxygen transfer capacity. So when I add hydrogen carbon, what happens? It increases the oxygen transfer capacity into this, because these have a higher solubility of oxygen in comparison to water. These means these hydrocarbons have a higher capacity, okay, or higher solubility of oxygen. They'll solubilize the oxygen than compared to the water. So somatic embryogenesis of synthetic seeds can also be used for germplasma conservation.